All right, Bill. This fucking Sky got over here. He's out here on the internet making some noise around here about the high heavens. We'll have to fix it. And a lot of times you get into somebody out there making noise, and I love both their presentation. Bill at the front. What are you gonna say about COVID? You're gonna come off right off the hop, like. And so it immediately, for me on the ground, all right, there's where that is. So it could have been me with the presentation of it. There's obviously a different living in the Cobra's den down there. And what that would be about being prepared for that conversation. As this up here, Bill, you're just sitting at the table being Tweety of the rest of us, honestly. And there's a real nature to what that becomes. Bill is at the table here about a standard of Masons making decisions. And again, generally, we talk about COVID a little differently up here to conquest numbers about flaming gate guardians and this nature of how this system works out. And so again, I'm very specific in the psychological of figuring out what is a good physical index for you based on values of kind of throwing down cards. And it can be time. It can be, well, Bill Gates microchip version, and then the guy's walking through town like, oh, breaking everything in here. It might be a bad idea, but at the same time, that wasn't created by them. And that's a very dynamic system over there about. And one half of the time, you have to be sensible with Bill Gates. On the other side of it, the farther lining of programming is programming. And so you're going to integrate the best pieces to the best positions in that field, regardless of what they are. It's just the words that wind up coming out when I'm saying, well, the Nephilim over there, because we all are. Firstly, I want you to understand that notation. It's when somebody comes down off of here, I'm just trying to Odin the fact that you say something. Every goddamn time, brother. I mean, inside of here, that note for Sky Blue is going to have one. Elon's up there, this sky god, this overseeing kind of type of mentality or a trick that somebody brings into it that you got to learn as the study. Bill Gates is obviously for the board as it stands today relative to certain cards at a council of functions, but doesn't own Africa or America realistically, because that danger noodle right there get you. Based on certain military standards of how this is communicated and deliberated down, there's an answer in there where it can get pretty spooky. And COVID is a type of this, but there's immune system physics to that says, in this starts to ramp them up there at about the 20 to 35 category of what it is. 18s are all illegal across the board, but you don't believe what the hell they say, and you sure as shit don't let them run around with that God killer gun the way it is, because at the end of it, you still got the wind particle sitting at the gate. They're going to be running calculus on this. That's the thing. They tell you to go through a Fermilab to come back around. So for that negligent just discharge, guess what? I mean, that's kind of what it is. And there's got to be that testing on that parameter of that thing. It says these things are predictable. That would happen under that standard. That given forms of it for whoever's doing what. And again, usually I'm late on the pack. I come in, I'm the trumpet guy. I'm running cadence out there. You have to run that perspective of it as well in order to make sure that everything in there, because the trumpet guy, right? Cadence guy, damn devil in here. I mean, every fucking Wednesday. And an opinion to, where is that thing coming from? Where is this number? Is just a gravitational number? Is local, non-local topologies for it. And so if your immune system, if we're dealing with the kill agents for what it does, what type of, that's a version of it. There's a type of understanding, not just the physiology, but also the neurology of genetics and breeding and functions over a wide-ended system that gets pretty wily out here in the petri dish for what it is of people trying to then distinguish what those timelines are and how to best handle those things without trying to go too much into God's house. So like literally it's going to be a flaming chainsaw over here, or it's going to be the thing that literally anytime it touches a thing turns it to ash, because inside of that system it wasn't what that system and standard really represents it to be. And so things get all kinds of hot out here on the actual topology of running that experiment relative to the theoretical value is based on the exact appropriation and timelines of those things, because that number is too tight for a lot of soldiers. It's too tight for a lot of type of people in a market that have to rely on that number to be at that thing. And then it's like, oh, I should be scared, and then I'll just do the damn thing anyways, and nothing comes to stop me on it. And well, that's a problem as well. And those are capital gain problem, high quality problems. It's a problem with humanity, it's a problem with psychology, it's a problem with engineering, it's a problem with computer programming. If you have a computer program in front of you and you need to learn how to program that. And so if one of the boys are down in there, and they got that Azazel, Belial, sharp, salty kind of card to them, good, bad, or indifferent, they function in that style or in that manner relative to its program. And it should connect, right? It should connect based on those systems and training, especially when you're putting in NCO mass gap training into the Zcoin machine here. And so that would be our market for that. Again, you're putting in a certain degree to Bill Gates, and you may not understand why you're putting all that Zcoin in there, and have it be a problem with understanding something later with the proper COVID type of conquest, the body biometric defensive warring death scale bits of it all, because those are high tables inside of there about any conversation that really isn't, into that variation on it's going to get this in and out, up and down. I have this equally like I'd be talking this about. I have no clue how many or at what speed or what variable that comes in. So I'm gonna make a hard line in the sand about how to connect that door. What's the proper transmission energy into this system that turns this key and gets it doing something right, about neurology, about keeping Bill Gates in mind, some of the standards of gravity that are necessary inside here, equally like the names that they're gonna